Welcome back to the Maximum Lawyer Podcast. I'm Jim Hacking.
And I'm Tyson Mutrux. What's up, Jimmy?
Tyson, how are you, my friend?
I am doing well. You, on the other hand, maybe not so much. You've got the vid, but no, I'm doing well. Things. I mean, it's cold as hell, but otherwise fine. How about you,
23 today here in St. Louis. It's a chilly, chilly day.
dude? I woke up. It was 17 freaking degrees. Like, what do you? What? Like, where did this come from? Like, it wasn't even supposed to be this cold. It's colder than what it was supposed to be.
It is cold. I'm excited about our guest today. You want to go ahead and introduce him?
Yeah, our guest today is Guild member Jason Carpenter. So, Jason, welcome to the show, and tell us a little bit about your journey and how you got to where you are now.
Well, thanks for having me, guys. And Jim, I'm so sorry to hear about having the Rona there, my friend. I know you mentioned earlier you had some symptoms, and at least we caught it. My name is Jason R. Carpenter. I'm the founding owner of the Law Office of Jason R. Carpenter, based here in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. I am licensed to practice in both Pennsylvania and New Jersey. We are a family law firm, but I'm thinking in 2021 of taking some personal injury cases and some criminal cases just to round out the portfolio. But we have the machine meant for family law. And later in the podcast, I'll tell you a little bit about what we have. Currently, we have two attorneys, other than myself. What's interesting is I'm about to go to a third attorney, Lord willing, in a couple of weeks, because my assistant actually took this virtual bar here in Pennsylvania where she had to stare at the camera the whole time and just watch it, make sure she took it. And we're going to find out in a couple of weeks. So we'll have a new attorney. And that's pretty much as far as the firm goes. Me personally, I born and raised in northern New Jersey. So I consider myself a Jersey guy. My wife, Stacy, is an optometrist and very beautiful. So she's easy on the eyes. They're just going to be all these dad jokes. And although
That was awful. That was terrible. Keep going, though.
not a problem. They'll get better, hopefully. But luckily, I'm not a dad yet, but we just found out my wife is 14 weeks pregnant with my first one. So yeah, I'm getting ready to actually be a dad. I'm a 25-year-long Rams fan. I know where you guys are in St. Louis native. Sorry if that's a little sore, but started there right after like 96, 97 as a fan. When Georgia Frontiere took them to St. Louis, had to stick with them. Just had to keep my man card and keeping my team and going from there. But Jim, I give you a lot of grief about the Jets. Being a North Jersey guy, my family, every North Jersey family picks Giants or Jets, and mine picked the Jets, so I just have to follow them. And I'm so sorry to hear what they're doing this year, my friend. Hopefully they get Lawrence in the draft. As you mentioned, I'm a guild member. We're a very close group, about 100. I seriously recommend, if you listen to this podcast, do it. Just yesterday, a guild member mentioned something about their personal journey, and everybody in the guild just was behind her. And we did more than her business coach, or his business coach, not to identify. I have a bachelor's degree from Florida International down in Miami. And coming from Jersey, I went to undergrad in Florida International. I have my JD, I'll tell you that. But of course, I also have my JDHD, where we learned a couple of podcasts ago. So this is going to try to be focused, but some people have said interviewing me is kind of like interviewing Robin Williams. I'm going to go on a tangent, but I'm going to try to pull it back here. Like I said, Jersey, went down to FIU for my bachelor's degree. Coming out from undergrad, I knew I wanted more. But I didn't know what, and I just couldn't find what. Looked at the GMAT for my MBA, thought about being a 10-year professor in economics just because I loved it so much. Even thought about taking the MCAT, and just thought about it. And my first job out of law school, out of undergrad, really cemented what I wanted to do and go to law school. I worked for a ladies' footwear company. Does that mean I know anything about ladies' fashion and ladies' footwear? Not at all. Somebody tried to explain the difference between an open toe and Mary Jane, and it just, as smart as I am, my brain turns off. But my job was the compliance officer there. My job entailed me, making sure X amount of units got to a store. But at the same time, I had to make sure we had all our contracts in a row. I would have to review the contract, break it down. I'd also have to do something called chargebacks, meaning if a vendor wanted to charge us for not complying with the contract, my job was to formulate an argument, get the money. And I'm sitting there saying, this is my favorite thing of the job. Why not law school? So that's where I was there. So I moved back up from Miami to Southern Jersey and decided to go to Widener, Delaware, now called Delaware Law School. Upon graduation, my wife, Stacy, was from Middle Pennsylvania, a place called Huntington County, Shade Gap, and we decided to put our roots down here in Harrisburg. Coming out, I didn't know what I was going to do. I got a few jobs. One of the job listings during my search was for minimum wage. Didn't apply for the job, of course, but just to show the market was that soft at the time. And my decision was right out of law school to go to, open my own firm. It was always the plan to go solo. Always. I just had that entrepreneurial bug, which a lot of us absolutely have because we're part of the guild or Maximum Lawyer Nation, if you just listen to the podcast. And just going out first, it was a miraculous thing and I loved it. Never looked back. The one struggle I had then, I want to make sure to tell people, I started with family law, and the biggest problem I had was I decided to do Lee Rosen's flat fee program. Now, what happened was I would set a price, not knowing the market, not knowing the work, say your divorce is going to cost X. And even though I tried to explain to clients, you're going to pay more if we go to court, I still had that problem with collecting and all of that. I've since moved to what Lee really does, a fixed fee where it says, if you need this, you pay for this. You need this, you need to pay for this. You need a special relief petition, you pay. You're going to court, you pay this, but it's a set number. And we also allow the traditional hourly, but that's kind of where we go with our practice. The mission of my firm is to divorce efficiently and keep people happy, trying to get them that new life. We know the 5 stages of grieving. And I'll tell you, the one thing I've always learned about divorces is one person's heartbroken, one person's not. And even the person heartbroken can be seeking the divorce. But it's a universal law. Anybody practicing family law pretty much knows that. And we do things differently here. We have a idea of kids first. In Pennsylvania, before you go into the divorce, the very first thing with custody is you'll probably get in front of a conciliator within 30 to 45 days. So it's easier to say kids first. Matter of fact, that's my Wi-Fi password. You come in, now you can connect. And transitioning to a little bit to letting you know where my mindset is right now, I want to share with people where I'm thinking. I love being my firm's CEO. I love the admin work. I look at my to-do list today because one of my things I'll tell people to go away with at the end of the podcast is daily planning. If you don't know what your day is going to be, it'll be everything but what you want it to be. Love being the CEO. Still got a few cases to keep my foot warm, my feet in the legal arena, but definitely not a full-time lawyer. But right now I'm trying to transition to the McDonald's concept, and 2 concepts there. McDonald's is very fast on production, the lines, the way things are done, there's efficiency, and it's just remarkable. There's a couple of there's actually a movie that has somebody on a tennis court showing how they mapped out the maximum efficiency. And then the other portion of what the McDonald's that I want to incorporate is Mike McCowitz, the author of many books, Pumpkin Plan, Clockwork. In one of his speeches that I heard, he was talking about the McDonald's effect, how he would walk into McDonald's all the time. And whenever he was in there, he would always ask for the owner of the location. Nobody ever said, okay, we know who this is. We don't know. We can't tell you. One time somebody said, oh, he came last week to pick up the check. Now, I'm always going to want to practice a little bit, but the idea to not be day to day and just maybe one week just pick up a check is something I'm definitely trying to get to. I think we all are. Yeah, that is kind of where I'm trying to go. But the I'm hitting a point now as trying to figure out if I should change things in my firm, develop, or should I just let it be? I'm very fast on adapting new things. We have to make sure everybody who comes in takes the DISC test, DISC, to make sure that they're able to keep up with my changes. Again, for the JDHD, it's made me one of the most successful because, again, I can change and move on a dime if something's not working. But yeah, going from the 60-hour work weeks is something this whole turn to efficiency has. But the mindset now, the people in my firm are saying, Jason, just let it work. You put the pieces together. But I kind of like JJ Watt mentality, where it says success is never earned, it's rented, and rent's due every day. So it's always a constant fight now. But that's kind of where I am. What we are doing is Process Street for production. I love Process Street. I love checklists. Even me, who wrote the checklist, have trouble with keeping up and making sure we don't miss a spot. I was actually considering buying dedicated tablets just for that, so that they never miss anything. And that's kind of where my firm is and my mindset with my firm. And like I said, I have my baby girl coming in a couple of months, and my idea is to take care of her 2 days a week. So having that McDonald's effect where we pick up the check kind of is where I want to be, so I can actually be the caretaker. Mr. Dad is, a stay-at-home dad for about 2 days a week is what I would like to be. But in this Corona world, we can always work from home.
All right, great. So that was a great introduction to your firm and your approach to things. Talk to us about when you first got started, when you come into a place like Harrisburg and have to build yourself out as a family lawyer. What advice can you give to members in the guild or the big group who are thinking about going out on their own and launching themselves into a new practice area in a new geographic area?
When you go out to a new geographic area, the first thing I would do is kind of survey the level of the marketing. Is it like Philadelphia or St. Louis, where you have a lot of people who are smart in marketing, have a lot of Google reviews, have very tactical positions? Analyze the market, kind of like a Sun Tzu type thing. But if you're going to open a firm, after you figure out what your marketing target would be and your ideal client, I honestly am more of a back end thinking at this moment of how to get production efficient. If you do it from the beginning when you have almost no cases, it's just going to make your practice like that. Now, you guys have talked at length about how efficient your firms are, and it's amazing. And if you're doing it well, it's kind of like driving a car and trying to repair it at 60 miles an hour. If you try to do this where we are, we're ahead of the curve, and we've been doing it since we started. But if you're trying to do it at the beginning when you don't have the huge caseload, setting up process trees, setting up checklists, getting instructions on how to do something out of your head and putting it on paper, being a policy or procedure, will save you time, money, and absolutely make your life better and more profitable as you go.
Jason, you mentioned something early on, and I know what you're talking about, but I want to dig into it a little bit deeper because Lee Rosen talks about doing flat fees. I don't do family law, so I don't follow Lee Rosen as much as family law attorneys do, but I do follow him a little bit. But he does recommend flat fees. You've shifted away from just a straight, here's what a divorce costs, and I guess I would call it more of an a la carte model. Why did you switch from just the straight flat fees to what you're doing now?
So we did the flat fee early in my practice, and it almost killed my practice. I would set a price, get half the money up, and then put the person on a monthly payment cycle for X amount on their credit cards. And what I realized I was doing is I'm not an attorney, I'm not a law firm, I'm a bank. If they can't go get financing and get money from somebody who does this all day and manages and analyzes risk, why am I doing it? Why am I giving them the numbers? So answering your question, I started with, hey, one price. If there was a special relief petition, something like, exclusive possession, our version of getting the marital home itself, or something along the lines of a hearing, that would be included in the flat fee. And even if it wasn't, when we kind of try to change that, a lot of clients would balk at that because they thought it was a flat fee. We decided about early 2019, actually, excuse me, late 2019, to start in early 2020, just purely hourly. Because family law, if you do flat and tell people flat, about 95% of them will just act normal. But that other five, the Pareto principle kicks in. I know 80-20, but that 5% will take about 80% of your time. And you're just going to be ringing up your time and not getting the same money. You're not getting the efficiencies. The fixed fee is still a hybrid between the two. And I've seen it practiced in quite a few other firms, and it's successful because you do keep with it. And the fact that we've done so many cases, almost in the thousands now, we know this is really what the time is going to be. And that's what the problem was when I started. I guessed without having any type of market research or knowing the numbers, and said, I think it's about this. And sometimes that would be way below market rate, and I had no clue. And it was, I had a huge list of clients. They all paid up front. And it was kind of like take more clients on to keep the bills going. And it was kind of a point where I hit. But my assistant, Ariana, who just took the bar, I was saying earlier, came in phenomenal. We've got most of those people happy clients, not just left the firm, happy clients and referral sources potentially in the future, which is also key to people starting out. Just make sure you get word of mouth. You can do the best internet marketing in the world. And I'm going to go over some of what I've done in 2020 marketing wise. I think that's going to help the group the most. Yeah, I would say that's kind of where I would say the flat fees, hourly and fixed, and we still give people the choice.
All right, let's take a break for a word from our sponsor. Thanks to our sponsor, Smith AI. Smith AI is a superior receptionist service for law firms trusted by many maximum lawyers, including me. In my immigration practice, the hacking law practice, Smith AI's friendly US-based receptionists respond to potential clients in English or Spanish. They screen and schedule new leads, and they even take payment for consults. Best part is they don't just handle these conversations via phone. They also have live agents and chatbots capturing leads on our website through their chat widget. They serve as our friendly gatekeepers while my team and I work uninterrupted. We get new clients and we get work done. How awesome is that? If you are in a solo or small firm, I know you'll appreciate this. Smith AI now offers 24/7 virtual receptionist service, answering calls, website chats, text, and Facebook messages. Plans start at just $70 a month for calls and $100 a month for chats. They even offer a totally free chatbot, so there's no excuse. Try Smith AI today and see for yourself why attorneys like me say Smith AI receptionists are the secret to business growth. Smith AI offers a free trial, and Maximum Lawyer listeners get an extra $100 discount with promo code MAXLAW100. Sign up and learn more at www.smithai. Trust me when I say, don't let another day go by. Try Smith AI.
Hey, Jimbo,
Yeah.
do you get more calls from the chat? I'm not calls. Do you get more leads from the chat or from phone calls?
It's funny, more from phone calls, but I've noticed lately that people that are actually signing up often come off the chat. So I haven't sat down and looked at it, but the chat is a good means. I think people are more serious when they're chatting. I don't know.
Interesting. Okay, I was curious.
All right, Jason. So as we're now standing at the gateway of 2021, you had some marketing tips from 2020 that worked well for you. I thought you might want to share a few of those with the group.
Absolutely. And if I have time permitting, I'll kind of tell you where I'm going too. So with 2021, but that's going back to not setting too many things and changing too many things and letting things run with the systems. I'm kind of like a rainmaker now. My job is to bring him in the door. We don't do chat online because we've found it not to be very good in family law, but I'm thinking about it. And since we're going to be flirting in 2021 with taking PI cases, on your recommendation, Jim, I might start taking chat on my website. But yeah, we're thinking about taking criminal and personal injury in 2021. Backtracking to 2020, I didn't realize at the time it was going to be that funny, but I have a billboard with oops on it. OOPS, of course. The second O actually is an engagement ring. That has stuck out. That has, I can't find, every potential client says, oh, you're that guy. They all love the idea. We have small models in our office, and that really helps with conversions. Didn't realize it was going to be that funny. I've been at CLEs, and judges have made sure they grab me and say, that's really funny. But it's also memorable, easy. It could be taken in a second, and somebody driving past can do it. But I'd say if you get a billboard, don't put your face on it. Just make it catchy and catch the right concept. Short story on that. Like I said, my wife's pregnant, and we were at the first trimester ultrasound. I make that mistake common. And the obstetrician came in the room, made some comment about having to cite the law. I have to do this per the law. I said, oh, God darn lawyers. I always make that joke, kind of like the Shakespearean kill all the lawyers. Of course, that means the inverse because we're too pivotal to society, and most people don't know that. But going back to the story, he's like, wait a minute, you're an attorney. I'm like, yes, Carpenter. I'm a divorce attorney. He goes, wait a minute, the billboard? Yeah, that's me. Oh man, I love that. I drive past it at work. It's really good. And, I'm just, very good idea. And my wife's sitting there going, oh my God, because it looked like a little bit of fanfare. So definitely proved my ego a little bit, but the billboard served its purpose. So if anybody wants to do it, keep it short, keep it memorable, and use it in your market. Just don't put your name or something like we have 20 years experience. Another thing I did was I was on television. We have something called Good Morning Pennsylvania here at a local affiliate. And what they did was I would love to have it been free and based upon, celebrity or, authority in the market, which I do have, but this was paid television appearances. So I'd tell listeners, talk to one of your association, one of the affiliates for your ABC, NBC. See if you can pay for a sponsored content spot, and you'll actually get television. Now, I know some people converted for it, but the best thing I'm going to do in 2021 is chop that up to very small videos on Facebook or on my website. And I get a lot of traffic on YouTube as well on that. But I would call the local TV station and see if you can get it. Cost me about $500 a spot. I was part of the Richard James group. And this is not a plug in any means by it, but one of the things that he really preaches is the book. Write a book to position yourself as an authority. Again, I didn't realize how powerful it would be. I didn't actually even write a lot of the book. I had it outsourced to law clerk, the third-party service, and then kind of edit it as I go. But I wrote the book, a roadmap to your new life. Cost me $4 per book to just hand it out. And it's just a great marketing tool, great conversion. John Fisher has a book, The Power of a System. I believe that's the title. He mentions that it's the ultimate calling card, because who throws away a book? Your business card, throw away in a minute. Never think about it. A book they don't throw away, and that helps cement you both as an authority. We've tried Facebook, not very great results. We're now switching to Andy Stickles' program, seeing if that can help. He has amazing results, a lot of, in the guild, and we're going to move that. But we didn't have a lot of success doing that. But the biggest thing I would say, and Jim, you hit the nail on the head, with your 6 or was it 7 part intake, and quite a bit you did with phones. Another a phrase that I've heard is fix the phones, fix your firm. And I have an 11-step script that has everything. Now, of course, if somebody mentions I've been cheated on or something like that, my people are instructed to go, oh my, and go off script, just because you have to have humanity with this. But they pivot back to the script and make sure they hit every point, selling points and things of that nature. But I would say one of our biggest it's not necessarily marketing, but it's starting the chain from marketing to, I call PNC, potential new client, where they're touching your firm. And if you don't do that well, intake's going to be a problem. Definitely. That's some of the things I've done well. The billboard, the book, we've tried LSAs. LSAs, most people don't even know what those are. We're still seeing a lot of data come in and see if they're great. I've heard guild members who are killing it with them. I've heard people who just think it's a bunk lead system where nothing's coming out, but definitely something good.
So Jason, let's talk a little bit about what you're going to be doing in 2021. So this is going to drop on January 19th. So the people that are listening to this, that are not watching it in the guild, it's January 2019th. So tell us what you're going to be doing in 2021 from a marketing perspective.
Well, I'm in a unique position right now, and we all are, depending on where you are, may or may not be. We are, recording this before January. And as we speak, even like you said, Jim unfortunately has the pandemic virus that's going on. It's at a high level, and we're considering, a lot of places are considering lockdowns, or if you're in Southern California or places in California or New Mexico, you've already been locked down by the time this comes out. The first lockdown caught me completely by surprise. The Friday before, because Monday, the 23rd in March, the Governor Wolf here in Pennsylvania, put the stay-at-home order to start with. The Friday before, the leader of my firm, Amy, came in, sat down with me, and asked me what my Corona plan was. Now, I kind of thought she was talking about happy hour at that point. Honestly, I didn't know what the heck I heard the virus. I just didn't realize it was that serious. And shortly after that, I created a plan early March, early April of about 15, 20 things I had to get done. And that's why I'm in the position today of don't mix too much of my systems, let a lot of that go. What I'm kind of saying for 2021, we don't know where it's going. I think the nation's foremost medical expert has put it on a good track that there will be lockdowns and there will be positive. Now, some people think that's Dr. Fauci. To me, I think that's Dr. Carpenter, my wife. And like every married man, she's right. We're in this situation, but I've already made my plan. And a lot of what I've spoken about marketing, or excuse me, I will speak about in 2021 marketing, we're setting up now. So I tell people, listen, the guild's even better because it's the people who are just that efficient, and it's some of the best lawyers in this whole country. But even if you're part of the main group, help start planning your 2021 now. I know people want to finish 2020 strong. Do your 2021 now. And if we get another lockdown, you're just going to have downtime to do this and, plan through. Luckily for me, a lot of the plan is this marketing. So I'll get a jump on it where other people will be in July of 2021 trying to figuring out that was. But since I have the plan, I kind of have a rough outline already. And, I think you have to make personal goals as well as professional goals, or else your firm will be working. You'll be working for your firm, not your firm working for you. As I mentioned, I'm having a baby girl. And one of the things I want to do is work 2 days from home to be a caretaker for her. So personally, that's my goal. Again, we're starting with Andy Stickle and kind of doing his videos for Facebook. One of the best things we're doing is, Tyson, obviously you have a law degree and a very intelligent person. Jim, same thing. I just explained to you what fixed fees were, and we had to go back a little bit. And that's, of course, for the listeners, but to explain it, so the layperson would have no clue. What we did was we hired an animation studio where it kind of has a video where it's drawing and explain the difference between hourly and fixed fee to them in a video that's about 3 minutes, and you just go over it as a voiceover and things of that nature. And anybody who wants it, as soon as it's ready, because it's being produced, can explain that. And you try to do it face to face, people are just going to tune out. We found out if they watch a video with constant motion in it, because again, the hand's drawing a lot of these things on it, they'll keep attention of it. But that's a great idea. Going back to Andy for a second, he does everything for every client differently, but we're going to try to do some geo-targeting with our Facebook. A good example is our local prison. One of the things we'll have a blog post is the 5 things you do after you've gotten arrested. What you can do is target a 1 mile radius around around a address, and then draw a bunch of exclusion zones around it. So you're literally targeting one building. If you're a PI attorney, you can do a hospital. If you're an elder law attorney, you can do a rehab center. Family law, I still haven't figured out where to do family law. I don't want to really go into marriage counseling therapists, but it's not as simple as that. But we would try to go into those areas, and all you're doing is educating. It's actually not sales. It's helping clients, because what you're doing is just putting content. Even if they never talk to you or hire another attorney, you're helping somebody. We're trying to do webinars as well. We're trying to see if we put it on Facebook, see if people come. I hear great success with those. With family law, I've not heard of great success, but hey, maybe possible. And, I know, Jim, you have a couple of videos from the Guild on YouTube content. And, we just plan to do 100 of those. One of the biggest things we'll be doing is videos explaining the process, because all great coaching services, you map the client experience. Let them never have a guess of what's going on. If you shoot a video and explain, hey, this is the next step, this is where it goes. Even if you want to do a quick tailoring to one and shoot a video individually, that's fine. But, and that's even a higher level service. For us, though, we're just going to have a generic one where we send out and explain the process. But the biggest thing that I'm doing for 2021 is, and every listener, my inbox can be crazy and I'll figure out what to do with it, because we have 3,500 or 4,000 listeners or members in the Facebook group, the Guild 120. Lee Rosen, again, to pivot back to him, is have coffees, have lunch. I've had a lot of conversations with attorneys in the Guild and outside of the Guild, how to form a practice. I don't care if you have a business transaction and I have a family law, you have a personal injury and I have a family law, just go down the list of practice areas. The amount of problems you have, and similar to me, is probably 80 to 90%. What I would say is meet with people. I'm going to offer to meet with everybody, family law across the nation. Just sit down 15, 20 minutes. I do it with coffee most mornings. Again, bringing back the Jersey, the coffee reference, just how it comes out. But sitting down with people, both referral sources and non-referral sources, you will learn so much in your mindset that you don't even know. Keep in mind, really what we do is we fix problems that clients don't even know they have most of the time. Same thing. If you don't know what you can do in 2021, just simply talking to another fair member, and a lot of Guild members, not to keep plugging this, but Max Law 2021 is coming down the pike, and hey, don't forget it's in a casino. Very fun time. But a lot of us do talk like that. And, even if you're not, just reach out to somebody in your neighbor or network. If they're a personal injury in your family law, they're going to have leads to give you. But the biggest thing is to start developing relationships. Who knows? I might want to run for office one day, and having connections through the Chamber of Commerce or something like that would help. But at the same time, I would just build my practice. These are kind of what I'm taking for 2021. But again, once I have more time, hey, I think of other things. But those are some of where I'm going with the firm.
I love it. So for those of you that are, it's 2019 or 2021, and you're listening to this, and you don't have your marketing plan, now you do. Now you have a good little starter plan for if you want to steal some of Jason's ideas. But all right, so we do need to wrap things up. We are over time, which is completely fine. But I do want to remind everyone to go to the Facebook group, get involved there. If you want to join us in the guild, like Jason said, it's a really great group of people, and really high level people. So join us there, maxlawguild.com. And also, while you're listening to the rest of this episode, if you don't mind just taking a couple seconds, leaving us a 5-star review, it definitely makes a difference. Jimmy, what is your hack of the week?
So some time ago, I came across a guy named Derek Sivers. He's a very interesting fellow. He started this company called CD Baby back in the day, where he would actually mail out CDs. He sold used CDs, and he made a ton of money. It eventually became a CD clearinghouse. So that tells you how long he's been on the internet. He has a website called Sivers. So it's SIVE.rs. He has a podcast. He's a very interesting thinker. He lives in New Zealand, and he's got a new book out, which I just picked up. It's called Hell Yeah or No, What's Worth Doing. So it's about figuring out how to focus on the important things, and it's terrific. So I highly recommend it to our listeners.
Yeah, he's been on I Love Marketing, I believe, and he's a really interesting person. So I definitely, I haven't seen that book, but I definitely recommend listening to that episode because it's really good, but interesting person for sure. All right, Jason, so you know the routine. You've been listening for a while now. So what is your tip or hack of the week?
My hack is business coaching. If you're a million plus, you have to go and get your mindset right. And I'm not talking about talking somebody in your practice. I have a business coach that has nothing to do with law, but every week he just positions my head to make sure that I'm the CEO. Yeah, it would cost a little bit. I'm not talking about a coaching service of all those, I'm talking about just you focused. And I think the most elite players in the country have their own person just to make sure their headspace day in, day out is in the right spot. So business coaching.
Love it. It's great advice. Really good advice. My tip of the week is a book. It's one that was actually recommended to me and Jim, which is a coach that we had actually hired, Robert Scrub. And it's called Tribal Leadership, Leveraging Natural Groups to Build a Thriving Organization. It's by Dave Logan, John King, and Haley Fisher Wright. Really good book just about using tribes to improve your organization. It's a lot of just small little tips. Some of them seem sort of obvious and some of them not so obvious. But it is a really, really cool group. And he actually recommended it for us for Max Law. And I think it's a great read. So that's my tip of the week. Jason, thanks so much for coming on. I think the people that listen to this are going to get a lot of great little tidbits from this. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, gentlemen. Look forward to seeing you guys in Max Law Con 2021.
Absolutely. See you, gents.